That is invisible.
All right. Clerk Kramer, can you put the time down? We are going to start the Board of Public Works meeting. Clerk Kramer, roll call, please.
Alderman Rapella,
Here.
Alderman Nichols,
Here.
Alderman Taylor,
Here.
Alderman Sevenik,
Here.
Alderman Langdon,
Here.
Alderman Schmidt,
Here.
Alderman Tom Grady,
Here.
Alderman Ted Grady.
Here.
All are present.
Thank you,
Sir,
Clerk Kramer.
Is
James,
there
go
any
ahead.
way we can put up the agenda? Oh. Okay, I guess
Okay. All
Don's
right.
not here.
Okay. So we'll move on. We have first, we have the minutes to approve from the February 15th, 2021. Do I have a motion? Alderman Taylor.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from February 15th and 2021.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Okay, motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman Ted Grady. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any nay? Minutes are approved. Tonight we have 5 discussion / action items. I will take 3 of them, and the numbers 3 and number 5, I will refer them to Alderman Stan Sevenik when we get to them. So the first one is to recommend to award the contract unit number 2021-05. That's for the public protection facility rooms model. IEI general contractors would be doing that in the amount of $76,000. Alderman Adam Alex.
Thank you, Chair. So we did, yes.
Oh,
So we did, that's all right. So we did bid this project. This would
Now
be
you're making a big bucks.
the shower room remodel at the public protection facility on both sides, fire side and the police side. We did receive 5 bids, and we are recommending to award the contract to IEI out of the pier in the amount of $76,000.
Thank you, Director Adam. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, do I have a motion? Alderman Taylor.
I will make the motion to recommend the award contract unit number 2021-05 Public Works Protection Facility Rooms Remodel IEI General Contractors in the amount of $76,000.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Alderman Ann Schmidt. Motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman Ann Schmidt. Any discussion? Seeing none, Clerk Kramer, roll call, please.
Alderman Rapella,
Aye.
Alderman Nichols,
Aye.
Alderman Taylor,
Aye.
Alderman Sevenik,
Aye.
Alderman Langdon,
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt,
Aye.
Alderman Tom Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Ted Grady.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you, Clerk Kramer. Number 2 is the recommendation to award the contract to Summers Construction Company. Do I have a motion? Alderman Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will make the recommendation, or I will make the motion as read by Chairman Langdon.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
I'll second.
Schmidt. I did want to put in there, I did forget to say the amount. That's in the amount of $251,474.95. So we have a motion by Alderman James Taylor and a second by Alderman Ann Schmidt. Is there any discussion? Alderman Nichols.
Thank you.
Yes.
Director Alex, it's not common for one street to be bid out by itself. Usually there's combinations thereof. Any particular reason this one is by itself?
There is, and I'll let Deputy Director Gordon explain.
Thank you. Alderman Nichols, what we decided to do with this one, our original thought was to bid it with the remaining projects. This one, in conjunction with the Public Works facility, our hope was to potentially end up with the same contractors doing the concrete work and the asphalt work as part of that project. Just a little better coordination, hopefully a better project, no joints, things of that nature. And in this situation, that is what happened. Summers Construction is the concrete curb and gutter contractor for the Public Works facility. They'll be doing the excavation and the curb and gutter sidewalk for Baldwin Street. I am not sure if they will do the storm sewer, but then Northeast Asphalt, also the paving contractor for the garage, would be the paving contractor on this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, Clerk Kramer, roll call, please.
Alderman Repella,
Aye.
Alderman Nichols,
Aye.
Alderman Taylor,
Aye.
Alderman Sevenick,
Aye.
Alderman Langdon,
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt,
Aye.
Alderman Tom Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Ted Grady.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you, Clerk Kramer. Number 3 is a resolution. I will refer this to Alderman Sevenick.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, at this time, I'd just like to make a motion that we approve and recommend to the Common Council R621, a resolution in appreciation for the outstanding public service by Cy Sidursky and showing our respect by placing the sign back up.
And also
Second.
spelling his last name, S-K-I. That's true.
Good one.
Well, if you're
Yeah.
part Polish, you should know it's S-K-I. Thank you.
I got it spelled
Good
right
catch.
down below.
Down below, it's spelled right there.
But 1 out of 2 ain't bad.
Mark, you're actually the chair. All I'm doing is
Okay.
coming
So,
forward, but I will discuss if I have the floor.
yeah. So, okay. So Alderman Sevenick made the motion. Is there, was there a second on that?
Yes, James
Alderman-
Taylor.
Okay.
James made
Yep. So there was a motion by Alderman Sevenick and a second by Alderman Taylor. Any discussion, Alderman Sevenick?
Thank you. I find it very commendable that we have a person from the public that has stayed on through, almost 3 hours of our meeting, and they had very strong opinions about this. I did because, if you guys recall, at a meeting before, maybe it was a couple weeks ago, some members were calling it the road along the Redliner Bar. I didn't like that because I've always known it as Sidursky Way. And of course, as it was indicated before, this was dedicated by Public Works employees who had strong feelings for him. And so did I. Back in the 1981, when I first came on this council, Cy Sidursky, anytime I was a young kid, I was 20, and I get constituents that would call me and complain, and I could call Cy and he would take care of it immediately. And he always showed me respect. I got to know his wife also. Like Tim Jacobson said, she was an angel. She was always trying to help people. And even when Cy retired, Cy would go through the neighborhoods and he would cut people's grass. I know I had a lady here on De Pere Street, just behind me, that she was 91 years old, and he'd go and cut her grass. And then here I hear he had a heart condition. So the guy was dedicated. He worked for the city of Menasha, what was it, 28 years, lived here, raised the family. And I think the least we could do is put the sign back up and show him respect. So hopefully, like Tim said, we can pass this 8-0.
Thank you. Alderman, I'm gonna go Alderman Randy.
Okay, Stan has said it all. I was just ready to vote yes, so I'm ready to vote.
Alderman Taylor, you had discussion?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
I happen to know Cy through his children, and I went to school with them, and then through the Department of Public Works in later years. And exactly what Tim Jacobson said, and Bill Bosler, just an outstanding man, outstanding individual, and his wife was a saint too. And exactly what those two men said about Cy, I echo that. And they don't make guys like that anymore, I'll tell you that. Thank you.
Thank you. No further discussion. We have a motion and a second. Clerk Kramer, roll call, please.
Alderman Repella,
Aye.
Alderman Nichols,
Aye.
Alderman Taylor,
Aye.
Alderman Sevenick,
Aye.
Alderman Langdon,
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt,
Aye.
Alderman Tom Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Ted Grady.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you, Clerk Kramer. Number 4, quarterly stormwater flyer. That'd be Director Corey, please.
Thank you, Alderman Langdon.
Yes.
What we have here is our quarterly flyer. What we did here is we created a new flyer to have Todd Drew with the health department when he goes around and does his inspections at restaurants. We created a new flyer for him. I apologize. It's a trifold, so it reads kind of wrong in this situation, but we just wanted to share with you some of the stuff that we were working on as part of our stormwater.
Thank you. Any discussion out there? Alderman Taylor?
No, do you want a motion to accept this
Yes.
report?
Yes, please. Yes, please. I'll take a motion, Alderman Taylor.
Well, I just left the screen here, but I will make a motion to accept the stormwater report.
Thank you. Motion by Alderman Taylor, second.
I'll second.
Alderman Ted Grady. Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing no one. Clerk Kramer, roll call, please.
Alderman Repella,
Aye.
Alderman Nichols,
Aye.
Alderman Nichols, Alderman Taylor,
Aye.
Alderman Sevenick,
Aye.
Alderman Langdon,
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt,
Aye.
Alderman Tom Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Ted Grady.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you, Clerk Kramer. Number 5 is an ordinance, and I will refer that to Alderman Sevenick.
Thank you, Chair. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 10-1-14, the changes to the heavy truck routes.
Thank
and
you. Do I have a
recommend to the
second?
council.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Second.
Have a motion by Alderman Sevenick, second by Alderman Taylor. Any discussion?
Yes,
Alderman Sevenick.
thank
Yes.
you. First,
You bet.
I want to thank the police chief. He's really the one that took the ball here and worked hard on making these changes, along with Adam Alex, our public works director. Once we had the discussion of putting up the signs on 9th Street to control heavy truck traffic, it was decided that our current ordinance was decades old and needed some updating, especially with some of the changes with the DOT. So quickly, the chief put this together, and Adam looked over it, and I felt, okay, let's do this right so it addresses all the streets in Menasha, just not 9th Street. So that's why I postponed in the council meeting putting up any signs until we have a good ordinance, so law enforcement has the tools if they need to enforce heavy trucks on our streets.
Thank you, Alderman Sevenik. Is there any further discussion? Yes, I just want to thank Chief Stika also for putting this together. Very, very well done. So with that, Clerk Kramer, roll call, please.
What, Chair?
Oh, sorry, Becky. Did you have discussion?
Yes, I did. I
I'm
also thought,
sorry. I'm sorry, Alderman Becky.
thank you.
You're very welcome.
Chief Stika, could you provide a summary of what would be accomplished through this ordinance?
Sure. Under the current ordinance right now, it restricts or it defines heavy truck traffic as being a vehicle that's over 15,000 pounds. And in talking with Director Alex about that and looking that through a little further, we determined that that's somewhat problematic because things such as regular straight trucks, tow trucks, and a variety of other vehicles, which I don't believe was the council's intent based upon your conversation in the last Board of Public Works meeting. So actually, Director Alex then did the research on this and found that NENA's ordinance has been updated to identify more of the definition, which is now listed in there by the state Class A and state Class B restrictions, I guess, on the roads is probably the best way to put it, which switches it to 12,000 pounds per axle. I did put a graphic in your packet then, in essence, showing that what was illegal, depending on the size of it before, would be a between Class 4 and Class 5 vehicle. And by the change that you are looking at today, it would go all the way up to a Class 7. So in essence, that's the nuts and bolts of the change, and I think that's more reflective as to the concerns that have been raised by the council. And then the other thing we just did is we did some cleanup on the language because State Highway 47 does not need to be listed. That is automatically a heavy truck route. In fact, the municipality is not allowed to restrict heavy truck traffic on a state highway. But we don't have Lake Park Road listed on there. So we just did a little bit of cleanup on that as well while we were taking a look at it. But big thanks to Corey and Christine. They were the ones who also had to put this thing together and get it in your packet to get it on the meeting here today with it being done short notice, as well as the city attorney to take a look at this. So it was really a group effort with Adam's direction as well. So thanks to all.
Thank you for that. I'm looking at the chart. So everything Class 7 and below would be allowed on 9th Street and other city streets. Class 8 and 9, which are tractor trailers, are only allowed on the streets that are outlined in the ordinance, correct? Lake Park Road, Highway P.
Yep. The only difference that I'd clarify is by that weight per axle, it actually falls into the Class 7. So Class 7 and above. Obviously, on the graphic I gave you, it's not great probably to show a garbage truck because you're thinking garbage trucks wouldn't be allowed to pick up garbage. The way the ordinance is obviously written, they clearly can because they're doing the work of and they're working in that specific area. Just in the same way that if a semi truck would have a delivery, or you look at a large moving truck, for example, large moving truck is still allowed to access that road, but provided that they're accessing it just to be in that stretch of roadway where they're making that delivery or pickup or move or whatever the case might be.
Okay, so Class 7 would not be allowed on a street like 9th Street except for our garbage trucks.
Or any street for that matter, but the way the ordinance reads is in order for us to be able to enforce it, we have to have the signs there. And Director Alex gave you a list of the streets that currently have no truck signs on it in the last meeting. This would just be adding it to 9th Street, which would then give us the ability to enforce. But as we talked about in the last meeting, it's more of an educational thing and hopefully trying to get GPS units or whatever might be directing trucks to use that route to work with their dispatchers to change it and no longer use that street.
Okay, and then could you briefly discuss the last paragraph in your memo about the information that was gathered?
Yeah, so there was some discussion in the last meeting as well to see if we could do any sort of a speed study. And after the last meeting and trying to get the information before the next meeting, we had our covert speed unit out there, which can determine the size of vehicles. We're finding that in that amount of time, we had it up for approximately 3.5 days. We found an average daily count of about 4,400 vehicles, and we were finding about 12-ish semi-trucks per day were driving down 9th Street. So the unit can't specifically tell if it was a semi-truck versus another vehicle. It can only tell the approximate lengths, but we cut it off at the 50-foot length to kind of give that determination. But what we also found interesting is, I know people tend to complain about speeds on the streets they are, but we actually found that 9th Street has a pretty large speeding problem. There were some pretty scary and impressive speeds on there. So forewarning to those that might be using it as a cutoff, you'll be seeing officers in that area a lot more over the next few weeks to try to bring some of that speed down.
Okay, so you saw about 12 semi-trucks per day on 9th Street when you were observing. And as the ordinance is proposed, those trucks would no longer be allowed on 9th Street.
Correct. Again, we don't know exactly how many of the vehicles fall into it by length, the way that it's currently written. But we do know that there were 122 30-foot to 40-foot long vehicles and another 56 40 to 49-foot vehicles. So that tends to fall into more like school buses, which are still allowed, straight trucks, some of the other smaller delivery trucks. So that kind of illustrates some of the issue that we would have had with the ordinance written as is, instead of the handful of much larger vehicles, which I believe the council is concerned about. A number of other vehicles would have been kind of grouped into that the way the ordinance is currently written.
Okay. And was there any indication where they were heading as they were going down 9th Street?
No, unfortunately, we just, the way the unit works is it really just gathers the speed and the approximate distances of the vehicles, both going east and westbound.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
Alderman Taylor. James? James? James, Alderman Taylor, do you hear me? I can't hear you.
Chief,
There you go.
Yes, I can. My mic's on. Okay. Chief, what is the fine for trucks using a no truck route?
Offhand, to be honest with you, I couldn't even tell you. It's something that I don't even know that we have it in the system, but I would say it's probably around $150 to $160. But I can certainly confirm that and let you know before you would approve and move this to the council.
Alderman Sevenik?
Thank you, Mark.
Yep.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry.
Yep. Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
The other thing that I liked about this is the chief kind of touched on it a little bit, is that it kind of parallels with the city of Neenah. So if it does go to court or something, we have our Menasha Neenah court, and so the two ordinances are closer together. Also, too, the whole issue with 9th Street is the fact that we could probably take care of more than half the city by having restrictions of these semis coming down 9th Street, because by doing that, then we restrict them from going down State Street and Warsaw Street and Manitowoc Street and De Pere Street, you know what I'm saying, by Melissa Street, all the way down the line, because they're coming down that street, and that's why I thought this is better. We have an ordinance like this, then it can address all the streets. But see, 9th is a main artery, and I think it was Alderman Rappella that told me the other day that he followed one of these semis and it went down to Pierce Street North. I don't know where it went. Menasha Corp or something he was saying. Orvis, okay. So anyways, those were two other points I wanted to bring up, is that it addresses a combination with the city of Neenah, and it also helps prevent these semis from going down all these other connecting streets.
Thank you. Alderman Taylor?
Chief, thank you, Chair. Chief,
Yeah.
we'd be putting, since the snowbanks are down right now, would we putting that speed radar trailer out there because of the high speeds you've seen?
We generally don't do that during the winter months. So once we know that we're out of the snow season, I definitely think you'll see some appearances of the radar trailer out there as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? COVID hit my brain heavily. I can't remember. Did we have a motion in a second, Clerk Kramer?
We did.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please, Clerk Kramer.
Alderman Rappella,
Aye.
Alderman Nichols,
Aye.
Alderman Taylor,
Aye.
Alderman Sevenick,
Aye.
Alderman Langdon.
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt,
Aye.
Alderman Tom Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Ted Grady.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you, Clerk Kramer. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I'll
Chairman?
second that.
Motion by Alderman Tom Grady to adjourn, second by Alderman Taylor. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Hey, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Good night,
All
all.
right.
Good night, Mayor.
Night. Stay safe.
If I could, just for a little
Drive
bit,
safe. Stay off
I'm-
9th Street.
on behalf of the few of us that are left that worked on their side, I'd like to thank you very